Hello and welcome to the Eldon House Kitchen. My name's Becca and today I have another recipe for you from the Harris Family Cookbook. The cookbook we'll be using today dates to the early 20th century and the recipes inside were compiled both by the Harris family and by various members of their staff. Today we will be baking fruitcake, the famous festive treat you either can't get enough of or you can't stand the sight of. Let's see how it goes. Before we begin, I'll just make a little note about the quantities of ingredients used today. The original recipe was to make 3 cakes, but to make things a little easier, we've decided to just make 1 cake today. However, as a result, you may notice some of the proportions of ingredients seem a little bit strange for a recipe. If you are following along with us today, I'll just let you know what ingredients you need. To begin, you need 1½ cups of sugar, 1 1/3 cups of butter, 3 1/6 cups of flour, 3 1/2 cups of raisins, 4 cups of currants, and 3 1/2 cups of mixed peel, 1 1/3 cup of almonds,
about 1/2 cup of molasses,
1/16 cup of hot water. You'll notice we have a little extra water here, just in case if it's looking a little dry, we can always add a little bit more. And then 1/6 teaspoon each of nutmeg, cloves, allspice, cinnamon, and 1/6 teaspoon of baking soda. Lastly, you will also need 7 eggs. The first thing we're going to do is take our slightly softened butter and mix it into the sugar and mix it all together. Okay, so at this point you should have small clumps of sugar-coated butter. Next, we're going to begin by adding the eggs 2 or 3 at a time, mixing all the while. All right, so I've just put 3 in. I'm going to give it a nice little mix. Once that's starting to incorporate, I will add the rest. Okay, once those have combined, I will then add all of our spices and again mix. Mix. Once those are incorporated, we'll add the baking soda as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in our molasses. We've got our hot water here as well. I've got about double the amount here just in case, so I'm just going to pour in about half. And if you tuned in to our last baking episode where we made ginger snap cookies, you may remember I mentioned that sometimes the quantities and instructions in Victorian cookbooks are a little vague. So to here, our next step is mix in some of the flour. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix in about 1/3 and we'll see how that goes. And just keep mixing. So the next step is to make sure all of your fruits are well dried and then you want to coat them with flour. We've already done that. What we did was just added a little bit of flour at a time, give it a good mix and keep adding until everything is well coated. So now I'm going to add the fruit and the nuts as well as the rest of our flour and then we just mix and mix and mix. Now look out Arnold Schwarzenegger, because here's our arm workout coming up. All right, so all our great ingredients have been well incorporated. Your mixture should look a little something like this. As a little test, we're gonna start just by baking in this small container. We weren't given specific bake time or temperature, so we're gonna try about half the mixture in there at 375 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. At that time, we'll take a little toothpick, poke it in the center. If it comes out clean, it's done. If not, we'll leave it in for a little longer, and we'll check back with you once it's done. And here we have our finished fruitcake. In the end, we baked it at 375 degrees for about 35 minutes, and it looks like it turned out pretty great. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do decide to try this recipe yourselves, please leave us a comment down below or tag us on social media and let us know how it went for you. Lastly, please just like and subscribe this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye!